Dave Palumbo, founder of Species Nutrition. I created Species Nutrition with one mission in mind: to provide bodybuilders and serious athletes with no-nonsense supplements that work and are backed by science. From my earliest bodybuilding days, I believed in only putting the best in my body, and that lives on in the Species Nutrition line of products. We use only top-of-the-line formulations dosed for maximum results and the best flavoring systems available. I put my name and reputation on every bottle of Species Nutrition products. If you want to be your absolute best, join the evolution. Welcome back to Live With, brought to you by Species Nutrition. I'm Dave Palumbo, and today's guest is a good friend of the show, and I'm very proud to actually announce that he is the 2020 New York Pro Classic Physique champion, our good friend Logan Franklin. Welcome back.
What's going on, man? Thanks for having me on.
What a journey you've had, man, over the last couple of years. I can't believe how big you are now compared to when I first interviewed you. I don't even remember how many years ago it was when you were doing men's physique. It's like the transformation is mind-boggling.
Yeah, I remember we actually did my very first interview together after I won the overall at the 2014 NPC Nationals, and you were interviewing me, and then you asked me to hit a few shots, and I did a side tricep shot, and you're like, what? And then I showed you my legs, and then you were just saying, what are you doing, men's physique? And
yeah, well, because I saw the potential there. You just weren't that big back then. You know, you had a nice structure, but I could see if you were able to put the muscle on, which a lot of guys can't. I said, if you put the muscle on, you're going to be dangerous, you know?
Thank you.
Let me ask you a question. How tall are you, first of all?
I'm 6 foot, but it seems like I keep getting measured right under 6 foot, like 5'11". I got measured at 5'11 3/4 in Tampa last year.
Oh, really? You got to stretch yourself. You got to like hang from like a bar every day and get yourself back to 6 feet.
And I think that whenever you get super dry, also like the soles of your feet thin out and everything just slightly, and I think that has something to do with it. But yeah, I probably should get one of those things that you can hang upside down from and let my spine
you know what?
decompress.
Yeah, you know what? That's going to be the new thing in Classic Physique now. You know how guys and the girls wear those like waist shapers to get their waist smaller? Now guys are going to they're going to go and get these stretching machines to like make themselves like taller so they can weigh more for Classic. I mean, right?
Right? Makes sense, man. Especially if you're right under.
Oh, yeah.
It's
a huge difference. What's your weight cutoff for your height?
Well, if they measure me at 6 foot, it's 230.
Right.
If they measure me just under it, like they did again this weekend, I believe it's 225.
What did you weigh on stage in New York?
214.
Really? You look so much bigger. Holy mackerel. 214, that's it?
214 pounds.
You look like you're 230.
That's what a lot of people say when they see me in person, But the funny thing about that is, I have so much, people that don't appreciate my physique, I guess you would say, or people that...
No, there's going to be haters no matter what, you know that.
Yeah, these people that are saying that I'm too small and all this and that, but I really don't look small. It's because I get in such crazy conditioning and dryness and hardness, right. And I guess the flow and symmetry of my physique and the way that I flare up in poses helps, make me look bigger as well. So.
You know why people don't bash you? Because you're too confident in yourself, which is good, obviously, for competing. Because you guaranteed that you were going to do this a couple of years ago, and people thought, well, whatever, And now you did it, and so people they're jealous of the fact that you were actually able to produce what you predicted you were going to do. It's like the Andre Ferguson. Andre Ferguson's always predicting victory, and people can't wait till he loses, but he never loses,
Yeah. People need to understand, it's not arrogance whenever someone says they're set out to do something,
Sure.
A lot of this is manifestation. I gotta have this profound belief in myself, in order to make my dream come to life. And people, need to understand that that's something that you have to do. That's a mindset you have to have in order to, even have a chance at, reaching your full potential. And wherever that's going to take you, maybe one day be a great bodybuilder or a champion bodybuilder or whatever. Or it doesn't even have to be in bodybuilding. It could be in any career path that you have, But mindset, it truly is everything. Because if you're not powerful in your mind about your vision, you don't have that full passion, you're not going to give it everything you've got. And that's just what I truly believe.
The interesting thing is that I've never seen you bash anyone. You don't bash other people. You just talk confidently about yourself. There's a big difference there. You're focusing on what you want to create. You're not like trying to play down what other people are. And I think that there's a huge difference. I've seen other guys out there bashing everyone, saying, "Oh, I should have beat this guy. He sucks. This one is not this." You just talk about yourself, and that's a huge separation. And I think a lot of people have to really understand that if you want to, like you said, if you want to create something special about your physique, then you have to focus on yourself and not worry about what the other people are doing.
Exactly. This is exactly right. And, going back to that, as of the late, a lot of people have been trying to, make this beef between Chris Bumstead and I out of thin air, out of nothing. And it all started because someone commented on one of my posts. I posted a front double bicep that I ended up deleting just because I was leading up to the New York Pro and I wanted to start going dark anyway. And I was tired of comments and all this and that. But someone asked me if I thought that, I could hang with Chris, and I believe that I can, or if Chris was beatable, and I said, yeah, why not? He is beatable.
Yeah.
He got beat by Breon, I mean, in previous years, everyone's beatable, at some point.
Right.
And, this is what I said. And then all of a sudden now everyone this was before the New York Pro.
Yeah.
And that's how I responded. And then all of a sudden, people are saying, "Oh, Logan thinks he's going to come in and just dominate everybody and win the Olympia." And it's like, no, hold up, back up. I never said any of that. Like, this is all y'all are taking this way out of context. You know.
Well, it's funny because when Jay Cutler was, battling it out with Ronnie Coleman, I never heard Jay badmouth Ronnie at all. But he did say I can beat him, and he always believed that. And I think a lot of people thought that Ronnie was unbeatable. I thought he was unbeatable. I said he won't lose until he beats himself. But Jay always believed that he could beat him. And, I don't think there was ever a moment if you asked him, "Hey, can you beat Ronnie?" He would always say yes. And so that was his single-minded goal, and he did beat him, obviously, more than once.
That's how I feel, man. I truly feel that, if I do everything necessary, and I have an outstanding preparation, for the Mr. Olympia, my body responds well. And, I make the certain adjustments in my training that I'm going to make, improve on the certain, things that I've been, visioning in my head to work towards a certain physique that I have in mind. As long as I do these things, I think that I have a strong chance. And I'm going to keep that belief inside of me as strong as I can, because I'm going to do everything that I can to make it a reality.
The crazy thing, though, is you still got 11 pounds you can gain of muscle and still make that classic physique cutoff. That's incredible when you think about it. That's why I think the tall guys have an advantage, because you can hold more muscle on your body. And obviously your bones must be hollow or something like that, because I don't know how you look so big and you only weigh 214. But on stage, you also have mastered, and I don't know if you got this maybe from Men's Physique, which helped you, obviously, because that's where you got your start. Obviously, that's where you were a pro in. You did well there, won shows. You have very good stage presence, and you really have a good body awareness. I wish I had your body awareness when I was competing, because you know where you are at all times on stage and in space, and it really shows when you hit that Arnold pose. I know you put that comparison up on your Instagram. Maybe Tyler can pull that up of you and Arnold hitting that same twisting back shot. I love it. I mean, that's a hard pose to hit. People don't realize that. I guarantee you must have practiced that 1,000 times.
Man, I put so much work into my posing, over the last 12 months, 13 months, because I mean, I just switched to Classic Physique from Men's Physique, as everybody is probably aware of, that knows who I am. Last year I did the Tampa Pro, and I was actually winning the show, and I faded in my posing, and I got placed third, because I didn't prepare myself properly, and didn't practice my posing the way, I should have, and I didn't have a very good routine at all. I was super awkward. I was not confident in the way that my routine was set up or any of that. And it definitely showed on stage. And on top of that, stepping on stage for the first time in a different division in underwear, it seemed like at the time, it was a bunch of nerves going at the same time. I had some anxiety go off.
Yeah, most people don't do their first bodybuilding show when they're as a pro. They do it as like an amateur.
And on top of that, already having the name that I've built, in the men's physique division, and it was like all eyes on me whenever I made that switch to, that show, and it was a lot of pressure, and I cracked a little bit, but it's all right. After that show, I needed that adversity. I needed that in my eyes, that failure for me to never allow it to happen again. And it never will happen again. I've made a complete 180. And like I said, my posing was so heavily criticized after that show that it made me go, you know what? Like, I know I'm a good poser because I was a really good poser in men's physique. Granted, we were not hitting shots, but I knew that I had flow. I knew that I could put together a combination of what I thought was my better shots and make it look sequential and nice, and it just took me, my pristine focus to really just buckle down and give it everything that I had, and that's what I did, and I did everything but gave up. And I prepared to my ultimate, best of my ability, and it paid off, man. It really did. I'm super happy with how my posing routine and how my posing on stage turned out. Like I said, man, I put so much work into it, and it shows, and it paid off. And man, I've been on cloud nine since Saturday, like no joke, man.
I mean, you're the most. You got to think you're the most successful guy in terms of being able to transition from men's physique to classic. I think, and a lot of people think it can't be done because a lot of the men's physique guys have no legs. I always knew you had legs because I saw them, like you said, that first time I interviewed you. But a lot of these guys have no legs, so it's very hard for them to catch their legs up. You seem to be very well balanced, upper and lower. To be honest with you, when I look at your physique, I don't see any flaws, like in the sense of like, oh, he's lacking here or lacking there, which means you have good harmony with your physique, and that's I think one of the reasons why they created Classic Physique was for guys like you that necessarily won't be the mass monster, but that you have such good flow to your physique that it's actually it's enjoyable to watch you on stage.
Thank you, man. That it feels really good to hear things like this. And I've gotten so many great, like people saying great things about me, like you just said recently, especially after my performance. And it feels really good, man. Like I said, I worked so hard, and it feels amazing that people are starting to see what I've been seeing for so long in myself. And man, I'm just excited for the future and the trajectory of my career and where things are going to go, because this is just the beginning. I just now started having this vision of how I wanted my physique to shape, about a year and a half, 2 years ago, in terms of how I needed to look in certain poses, how I needed to train, what muscle groups needed to come up, and having that vision of, like I said earlier, a vision of a certain specific shape that I want to have of, someone back in the old school days, like something that I'm working towards, and just keeping that shape in my mind and working for it. And that's what I'm doing. And
well, you're doing it right.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. How does it feel to be a father?
Feels great, man. It's life. My life has been changed instantly
I
And,
know,
you know,
believe me, I experienced it too recently. So I just want to know, how is it like as a competitor, you know, because I know look, young kids don't sleep, and it's like it changes your whole schedule around too.
yeah, it definitely presented challenges, you know, stress and you know, annoyances whenever he was like screaming all day, if he had colic or he's teething now, and just doing this for the first time and trying to, you know, balance being a father and being a family man, and at the same time, giving everything to my passion and making sure that, you know, I was going to come in at my very best and have a redemption performance from the last time that I stepped on stage. So like I said, it definitely brought some challenges, but at the same time, you know, it gave me energy. It gave me strength, and you know, it changed my whole like wavelength of thinking,
Right.
and how it wasn't, this whole thing wasn't just for fun anymore. This is who my son is gonna know me as. My dad's this guy, you know. He can see me and how I'm living my life, and
Right.
see how I'm giving it all towards something, and he can apply the same whenever he gets older, you know. So that's where I'm at now, man. Is just trying to set a as best of an example for my son and that I can, and go with it, man, and try to go all the way.
Yeah, and you better thank baby mama there, because I'm sure she picked up a lot of slack while you were dieting, right?
Yes, man. She's been so great. You know, I'm definitely blessed to have such a strong woman, you know, in my life. You know, someone that was able to, you know, take over whenever I couldn't. You know, take over the night shifts whenever I needed
Right.
sleep. She allowed me
Yeah.
to just sleep
It's
and
important.
recover, and yeah, and it was just such a blessing, and man, she's a great teammate, you know, great partner, you know, future
Right.
spouse, and it's just exciting, man. It's exciting because I'm exactly where I want to be, and you know, life is starting to feel like life, you know.
Yeah. Well, you know, you work so hard to get to a certain point, and then you kind of get to a point where you say, okay, you know what? I've achieved a level of success that I actually feel good about, and now I could take that and I can run with that. But you know, and you sometimes you forget how hard it was leading up to that point. But you know, you have a tremendous social media following. I mean, I like to ask guys, because everyone has a different answer to this question. So why do you think that you have so many people who follow you and who want to know every little nuance of everything that you do during the day? What is it about Logan Franklin that makes you appealing to the mass people?
Man, I mean, I guess part of it is just because, you know, I'm a go-getter. You know, I I mean, some people like the confidence, you know, and the belief, and they translate it to themselves. You know, that's really what I do it for. You know, or why I speak, how I speak. You know, on social media, whenever I'm like, I'm gonna do this, you know, and I'm gonna show you guys that I'm gonna do
Right.
this, you know, and have that mindset. You know, it's not just for me. It's for me to show people out there that it's okay to have this, to have belief in yourself. It's
Right.
okay to have passion, you know, and to work hard and say that you're going to do something, and it's especially if you're actually trying, especially if you're actually giving it your all
Mm-hmm.
to make it happen. Instead of just not just saying something and not doing anything
Right.
about what you're trying to say and trying to back it up, you know. So maybe, you know, part of that has something to do with it. Maybe it's because I'm a veteran and people have some type of respect for that. Uh, I mean, I don't know. I just try to be, you know, as good of a man as I can be, and you know, let my presence flow naturally and organically. Will, you know, it'll grow the following. It'll grow, you know, a fan base, people that support me,
Yeah.
and it'll also make people dislike me. I mean, I have a lot of people that don't want to see me succeed as well. I had a lot of people wanting me to not win this weekend and hoping that I was going to show up out of shape and look terrible in my posing. And I knew all these things, but, at the same time, I know that I have even more people that support me. And, but one thing that I've learned, especially the last, few years as I've gotten older, and matured up a little bit, is just, it doesn't matter what anybody has to say, whether that's positive energy that people are giving me or negative energy. I try not to listen to any of it. I try to just silence all of the noise and just focus on what I believe and what I'm set out to do.
First of all, that's a very healthy attitude, because you know what? I've talked to Ian Valier about this after Tampa, and he was really, mentally, it was not in a good place. And he seemed to be mentally in a better place also in New York. He wins, obviously, but he took a lot of flack, way more than you took. A lot of people thought he shouldn't have won. I thought he did enough to win, but, a lot of people thought he shouldn't have. And he took a lot of criticism, and it's bothering him a lot now. And I know that he didn't really want to interview because he feels that there's so much hate out there. And I think that he could take almost a little bit of some words of wisdom that you're saying here, which is, don't worry about what anyone thinks. Who cares? You got the win. In 5 years from now, no one's going to know, or no one's going to even. They're not going to remember the show. They're just going to see you won the show. And if you can convince the judges to give you the win, then you did something right up there. Energetically speaking, physique-wise, whether it was a small margin win or a big margin win, it doesn't matter. A win is a win, and that's what people have to understand. Not everyone's going to agree with everything you do or say or achieve, and that's a lot of it's jealousy. And I think that people have to just get, it's hard to wrap your head around that, because everyone wants everyone to love them. As bodybuilders, we want love and adoration from the crowd and from the fans and from social media, but you're not going to get that from everyone. I post a video and I get just as much criticism as I get positives in the comments and I don't remove a single comment ever unless it's against my family or something like that. But because I don't care, it doesn't alter my life one iota. I know what I want to achieve and what I want to do and what my creative process is, and I don't let anything get in the way of that. And I see you're very similar to that, and that's why I think you have a level of success that's so impressive at this point, and I think why you're so confident in yourself, because you don't let the good opinion of others influence how you feel.
Yeah, like I said, good or bad,
Yeah.
I mean, it's just as detrimental to your mindset, in my opinion, listening to all the good positivity, because that can make you get complacent and make you really believe that you're good enough yet. And I don't think that I'm good enough. I don't think that I'm always going to have things that I'm going to want to improve on. And I'm hungry, man. I mean, I'm not trying to just get to here and then do this, I'm trying to just continue, and every time I step on stage, I want to bring something, crazier than the previous one, and just consistently, bring something amazing for the sport of bodybuilding and the fans of bodybuilding to witness. And man, that's what I'm about.
Well,
I'm just
you're doing it. You're doing it right. You got some good sponsorship through Dragon Farm. I know they're supporting you. That's a big company. They also they have Ramy under contract as well, and a couple other big athletes. So that's going to make you feel good, to give you some financial security. So I mean, you're at a stage where you actually are making a living from bodybuilding. That's got to feel good, I would think.
Oh yeah, I mean, I've been making a living from bodybuilding since 2015. I've been living solely, off of fitness and doing this, man. And it's just hard work, it's hard work, and not, not settling for anything less than my best of myself, And I think I'm doing all right, man.
Yeah, you're doing great. Well, I want to just once again congratulate you on that big win in New York, and of course, good luck on your prep for the Olympia that's going to be taking place in December, obviously in Las Vegas. You'll be up on that stage battling it out with the best of the best. And that's got to feel good. And once again, congratulations on becoming a new father and on your entire career.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that so much.
All right.
Thank you guys for having me on.
No problem. And you want to thank anyone before we let you go?
Yeah, just, everyone that supported me, all my fans out there. Like I said, thank you guys all, continuously supporting me. My coach, being so passionate about his job as well.
Who's your coach? Mention it.
AJ Sims.
Yep.
Cement Factory.
Okay.
Yeah. So amazing coach, amazing Christian man. Obviously my partner Marissa. Thank you. She's doing so much for me. My manager, all this stuff. So, yeah, man.
Look, you got it right. You got the whole support team and the whole crew behind you there. It's not a one-man show, as we all know. And once again, congratulations on all your success, guys. That's going to take us to the end of another episode of Live With, brought to you by Species Nutrition. I'm Dave Palumbo. We'll see you next time.